Hello, I want to talk to you today about the Pet Shop Boys Actually album. It was their second album, 1987. The first album was Please, which introduced them onto the British music scene. West End Girls was, I think, the first time most of us got to hear of the Pet Shop Boys. Actually capitalises on the success of that album and in many ways is much, much better. Contains a lot of hit singles. The first one is on side one, which is What Have I Done to Deserve This, which featured Dusty Springfield, about a broken relationship where we know from the first line, you only wanted a lover and I only wanted a job, that really they were in the relationship for the wrong reasons, but nevertheless it still ends up with them screaming at each other in anguish and pain, really, at the breakup of their relationship. You know, even imperfect ones, you know, it's still painful when you finish them. This album represents just about everything that it was like to be British, including, you know, the Tory government, which is, you know, on people's minds at the moment, really, with the film The Iron Lady and that sort of thing. And we have a song called Shopping, also on side one. It wasn't a hit single, but certainly it, euphemised, if that's the word I'm after, you know, just try to use the sort of language that politicians use when they're trying to disguise something that is really not particularly, you know, what we want to hear. You know, and this word shopping, you know, it's describing all the dodgy deals and things that were going on between the city and the government, and which are still going on between the city and the government. And you know, just the way that, you know, the style of music that they have, which is, you know, very clubby and very electronic, and they're making these you know, noises like we're shopping, and you know, it's like, you know, we actually can't tell you what we're doing, and you know, the way that, you know, their voice has been electronically processed blends perfectly with the genre of the music, but at the same time it's very, very telling that, you know, we are not gonna, you know, we're not disclosing what's going on here, gang. Another hit single from here was the follow-on track, which was Rent, which, you know, again about a relationship where, you know, it's not entirely healthy, where the two partners are, you know, basically one is living off the other one, and there's very little in common between the two of them, except that, you know, that, you know, I love you and you pay my rent, basically. Side one does have a couple more tracks on here. One More Chance and Hit Music. I don't think Hit Music is the strongest track on the album. One More Chance is a very good opener. You know, again about a failed love affair. On side two, we have two more hit singles. It's a Sin, and I Want to Wake Up. It's a Sin that was notorious, really, because Yusuf Islam, or Cat Stevens as he's better known, thought that Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe had plagiarised the tune and the chord sequence from Wild World, and they do sound very similar, but I don't know how far he actually got with that claim. But yeah, these things do happen. There are only 13 notes in a scale, and only so many ways that you can blend chords together to make them sound popular or good. The two songs that I really want to talk about, though, on here are Heart and I Want to Wake Up. I'll talk about Heart first. It's on the face of it, it's actually, you know, quite a pretty love song. We have these lyrics which are almost kitsch in a Joe McElderry style way. You know, I love you so much. Every time I see you, something happens to me, like a chain reaction between you and me. My heart starts missing a beat every time oh every time. And yeah, you could, almost take that to be, something very pretty that two lovers would be expressing to each other. If I didn't love you, I would look around for someone else. Slightly dark, second verse. You're not, irreplaceable. I can easily find someone else. It doesn't really mean that, and you've got to get to the first chorus before we actually, really do find out what this song is about. It's certainly in the face of the lyrics and the song as they're heard without the video, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm in love with you. This is the middle eight bit. I mean what I say. I'm in love with you, and you don't know what it means to be with you. And it's that punchline, you don't know what it means to be with you, which is a magical musical moment in disguise. I don't think it'll make you tingle. It almost passes, all right? But it bears looking at, because that's the nub of the song. You don't know what it means to be with you. You've no idea how much I love you. Unrequited love. When we look at the video, it's a slightly different scenario, but it still points out that the sloppiness of the lyrics is not really, there's more to it than just, sloppy lyrics. The video begins with wedding bells. We see the wedding car driving up to, this grand sort of palatial building where the wedding reception's about to happen. Inside this grand palatial building, in a coffin, there's a vampire. The vampire, it's revealed as, in just tiny little, second or two clips, that, it's the vampire that is also in love with the bride. In the car, the groom is singing those sloppy lyrics. Every time I see you, you have the same effect. Like a chain reaction between you and me, and all this sort of thing. And he's the groom is Neil Tennant, who's the singer and lyricist behind the Pet Shop Boys, and it's an obvious display of affection. Once we get inside the building, the vampire decides to sort of climb out of his coffin and search for the bride and the groom. The bride and the groom are then seen dancing together, and then the vampire starts to sing those lyrics. I'm in love with you, I mean what I say, I'm in love with you, and you don't know what it means to be with you. And it's very, very sad. You actually can't help feeling sorry for the vampire. In a way, it's almost a spoof on the Phantom of the Opera, which was a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, which was insanely popular at that time. And yes, you do start feeling sorry for him. And then your sympathies suddenly sort of turn to the groom. When the bride looks at the vampire and she looks into his eyes and then begins to dance with the vampire, the groom is suddenly mortified. He realises what he's lost. Of course, the vampire plants a lovely bite on the bride's neck, and suddenly she's transported into the lost world of vampires and things, to be with the vampire forever. The groom is left staring out of the window, and you feel very sorry for him. It's actually sort of tragic comedy, really. It's makes the point really that where you do have unrequited love, you've also got a big plate of spaghetti. You've got, it's not just the one person that's been left out that is hurt. It's the three people that are involved in the relationship. And that song is superbly done. I think, even though it was number one for, many, many weeks, it's underrated. And, possibly, you know, a forgotten Pet Shop Boys song. It's worth looking at again. It's, you know, very, very good. All right. The other song that I want to look at on here is Heart. I have the sheet music here. Bought when I was a wee whippersnapper. I must have been, 1987. I must have been 19 when this came out. It has something really infuriating in it before I talk about I Want to Wake Up. Here's hit music. Here's hit music, but not finished. Here's hit music, but not finished. Here's the centre spread, which has fallen out. Here's the end of hit music, but it does include a turn back to, you know, page whatever to finish off playing it. And it's really, you know, very badly laid out, but, you know, never mind. The songs in here actually, because of the Pet Shop Boys style, they don't actually translate very well to the piano. I certainly don't think I'll be doing any cover versions, you know, piano only on YouTube. But here's I Want to Wake Up. Now, I Want to Wake Up, lyrically, again, it's unrequited love. It has, you know, yet another twist in the tale. The Pet Shop Boys never wrote anything, and, you know, on the face of it, it's that simple. Here we have the third person, as it were, in this relationship, and I'm going to say the third person because, you know, again, there's a sting in the tail, but, you know, for now, go with it. All right, we have the third person here who is describing the kind of nightmares that they're having because they are not with the person that they love. It's, you know, I heard what you said, and I can tell you it's true. I heard you said that I'm crazy about you. Turn in my sleep, the bad dream is over. I think of you, and shall I ever recover? Now I want to wake up. In other words, I want to move on from this situation. I'm stuck here. You know, even in my sleep, I can't get you away from me. I want to wake up. You know, I just want out of this situation. Even, you know, the most mundane tasks of washing up, you know, and the radio's on, and on come songs, and we hear, you know, that, you know, Neil Tennant sort of name drops Tainted Love by Soft Cell and Love is Strange, which shamefully I don't know who did the original of that. I think Everything But the Girl sang a cover version of it though. But, you know, as the radio played, the words hit my ears and I cried. You know, it's, you know, how music can really touch a person and tap into their emotions. You know, it's a scientific fact. It's also a spiritual fact. And, well, as far as anything spiritual can be said to be fact anyway. Certainly a very, you know, spiritual emotion here that is going on. You know, he cannot get this partner out of his head. I want to wake up though. I want to stop daydreaming. I want to get out of this situation. All right. We have the middle eight. It's sad. In fact, it's not even sad. It's mad to be in love with someone else, which we know. When you're in love with he, so you have your own partner, the one that I love, you love someone else. She's in love with me. Now, is this, you know, that there is actually, there's a lot of sexual ambiguity here. Neil Tennant didn't actually come out of the closet as being gay until 1990 something. Certain of his songs couldn't have been written by anyone other than a gay man. Certainly a lot of the songs on Please are, you know, very much, you know, identifying with the emotions of the gay scene. But here, you know, we've got someone that is grown up, that is living a life, is stuck at home. Now, is there a fourth person in here? Is it male or female? It doesn't really matter. It does seem like there's a fourth person in there, so that he's stuck in a relationship that he doesn't want to be in. His partner that he really wants to be with is stuck in a relationship. We don't know whether or not those two want to be together or not, but he's certainly not committed to his relationship. You know, it's almost kind of left there. There is a punchline at the end. Looking at verse 3, play with fire, play with guns. You know, very dangerous situation here. You know, you've got two relationships here, which could be, you know, completely, you know, kiboshed by this situation. It's easy to impress someone. Turning in my sleep, I'm back asleep again now. You know, and I'm dreaming you know, that you're calling me a fool, forever loving you. You know, but to fall in love, is it so uncool? You know, we all do it. You know, I wouldn't be alone if I didn't. You know, if I said, well, you know, I've been in this situation before, or similar situations before, and you know, it's just an agonising situation. Okay, we come to the chorus. I want to wake up. How? I want to wake up. I want to wake up. You know as well as I do, I can never think of anyone but you. But all my life, but I want to wake up. I want to wake up. But then, as it fades out, I want to wake up. I want to wake up with you. I want to wake up with you. I want to wake up with you. He doesn't want out of the situation at all. That's the thing, you know. Or maybe he does, but, you know, he doesn't. I want to wake up with you. I want to wake up with you. And it's not some cheesy song by Boris Gardner, which was also a hit round about that time, and which Vanessa Feltz runs a little slot on her show in the morning because I'm sad enough to wake up early enough to hear it. But yeah, you know, this song is absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. You know, and musically, there's nothing about it that's settled at all. The Pet Shop Boys, again, their tunes and their chord sequences sound deceptively simple until you try and work them out. And then you realise that they're anything but. There's no key centre to this. It starts off with this high E minor chord, and you know, I'm just reminded of the beginning of El Condor Pasa by Simon and Garfunkel, because, you know, that's what it wants to start going into. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail, and so on and so forth. And those of you who are into ancient music as much as I am will know what I'm talking about here. But this E minor chord is the fourth chord of A minor. It never lands at A minor. We never get to, you know, the real, you know, key centre here, all right? Because the hook, and if you can bear staring at my shelf of records, I'll hop up and play it to you in a minute. But the hook is, you know, this E minor chord, but with an A minor sort of backing to it. It's really A minor 9. So, you know, but it just doesn't sound like it's a settled chord at all. Which then goes to F, which is chord 6 in A minor. There are a few embellishments there, and then it goes back to this A minor 9 and back to F again. And that is really the chord sequence of the whole song, apart from that middle 8 where it's I can't actually work out what some of these chords are at all, even with the sheet music in front of me, because to be honest, the sheet music chords don't sound right, and they don't always get it right. But if I just hop up and play you that main loop, which is, you know, repeated over and over again, you'll see it's just not settled. And, you know, the person's mind up isn't settled. Do I want to wake up and move on, get out of this nightmare? Do I want to, you know, wake up with the person and still be, you know, pull apart these two relationships and, you know, continue the nightmare, right? Here's our E minor chord. And then landing to this funny A minor 9. And then we go to F with an embellishment back to this A minor 9. And then we have this little intro, which sounds like it wants to land there, which would be the end, but it isn't. It's, and it just it just doesn't end. And love's like that, peoples. Sorry and all, but it is. Actually, it's a brilliant album. Those are my two favourites on there. But, you know, go and listen to it, even if you've never heard of the Pet Shop Boys. Bye.